bout is John Hayes. It's a 10-round heavyweight fight in the blue corner with a professional record of 9 wins, 7 losses, and 1 draw. 4 wins by knockout from Plantation, Florida. In the blue corner, Garing. In the red corner, with a professional record of 37, 7, and 1, 21 wins by knockout from Yonkers, New York at 226 pounds. In the red corner, Renaldo, Mr. Snipes.
Well, good evening and welcome to the English commentary. I'm terribly sorry, we've been having all sorts of technical problems during this match. Renaldo Snipes in the yellow trunks against Garing Lane in the black. Well, I dare say you've been listening to either the Dutch or the German for the first couple of rounds, but back here with the English. Garing Lane, 29 years of age. I think his next appointment will be an audition to take the Michelin Man's job. But that said, the guy can fight. Not at all bad. You may remember seeing him against the former world champion Trevor Berbick on Eurosport. And I personally thought that Garing Lane might have just got that one by a single point. But Berbick took a close decision. Unfair to say that Renaldo Snipes in the yellow there, well, his best days were some 10 years ago now. But they've resurrected him. And I honestly don't know why they bothered. The chances of him getting a world title shot seem to be quite remote. This is scheduled for 10 rounds. And needless to say, a heavyweight match. And this is round 3. Renaldo Snipes just about going through the motions these days. Garing Lane, I don't think he has any pretensions about being a world beater, but certainly will give a lot of decent heavyweights a hard time. And his physical stature does actually belie his natural ability. And he puffs and wheezes. He ordinarily only fights around the last 45 seconds of a round, but pretty effective in that last bit. Well, I've got them one round up, a piece, with 2 gone. This is round 3. Renaldo Snipes, you may remember, boxed Larry Holmes way back in 1981 for the WBC Championship and was beaten in 11 rounds, but actually gave Larry Holmes a good fight, to be fair to him. For some good men, Renaldo Snipes. He's now 36 years of age. Big right to the head there from Lane. And Snipes very sensibly trying to keep Lane away with that jab. He's not going to have too much success, I don't think. I think Lane is going to climb all over him. Snipes doesn't look my age, but 36 he is. Garing Lane, 29, and that's normally an age when heavyweights start to really come into their own. And Lane fully capable of roughing Snipes up. He came in at 270 pounds for this, which was 44 pounds heavier than Snipes. And his Garing Lane's record, in fact, 9 wins, 7 losses and 1 draw. Only 4 wins have come inside the distance. Snipes, 37 wins, 7 losses and 1 draw, with 21 wins inside the limit. So that just goes to show how far Snipes has gone back to actually be put in with a man like Garing Lane in the first place, and then to have trouble. Well, I think Snipes is probably winning this 3rd round with 20 seconds to go, but this is really when Lane starts to work, and he hasn't. So that could be significant. Well, Lane taking a bit of time out, I think, in this 3rd round, but there you go, a flurry of punches there from Garing Lane, but probably not quite enough to claw back the pretty reasonable jabbing work of Renaldo Snipes there in that round. And if you were looking at Snipes as a, say, 24 or 25-year-old, you might think he's a man with a bit of promise. But at the age of 36, well, you've got to say he's a man very firmly past his best. We're going to take a break.
Eurosport.
Renaldo Snipes might just have fiddled his way through to winning that round. Anyway, I'll just give you a bit more background on Renaldo Snipes. Way back, as I say, 10, 11 years ago now, he was actually mixing with pretty good company. The likes of Eddie Mustafa Mohammed, the former light heavyweight champion, Sherry Coetzee, the former heavyweight champion, Larry Holmes, of course, who I mentioned before. Tim Witherspoon outpointed him over 10 rounds. He beat Coetzee on points. He beat Mustafa Mohammed. He also beat Trevor Berbick on points before Berbick became champion. He boxed for the USBA title, lost on points to Greg Page over 12 rounds. And ironically, the former European champion and world title contender Alfredo Evangelista from Spain outpointed Snipes over 10, which doesn't augur too well for him. That was way back then, 9 years ago now. But this is Garing Lane, out to make a name for himself, if that's possible, against the very faded Renaldo Snipes. And I'll tell you what, Lane has mixed it in pretty decent company. Ray Mercer, the former WBO champion, outpointed him over 4 rounds, as did Riddick Bowe, who's now the leading contender, of course, for Evander Holyfield's championship. In the return, Bowe won in 4 rounds, but that's the only time that Garing Lane has been stopped. The former European champion, the Swede, or shall I say the man from Denmark, Anders Eklund, outpointed Lane over 8 rounds a couple of years ago. And the Madison Square Garden crowd, of course, used to seeing much more lively opponents than these two. And Lane needs to watch that left hand. Strayed low on 2 occasions now in this 4th round. And there's no chance, I don't think, of Renaldo Snipes hurting Garing Lane. Well, a couple of booming rights there from Lane. Comes from Hillcrest in Maryland. And Snipes, of course, from Yonkers in New York. Very firmly the house fighter, Snipes. Go back a couple of years, and he took 10 rounds to outpoint the walking punch bag Jamie Howe, who really is only a light heavyweight. And before that, stopped Tim T-Bone Adams in 3 rounds. He hasn't lost in his last 8, in fact, Renaldo Snipes. And hoping this will be number 9. Real big right there from Lane, but took a left hook back from Snipes. Well, Snipes there pulled away very, very smartly from the right hand. Pretty even round, this one. But as I say, it's always Garing Lane who finishes the stronger. When he hears the thump on the floor, well, that little ring that signifies the last 10, he lets go. Let's see if he does it here. He did it with Berbick. Here we go. There's the flurry of punches. And that might just be enough to put him ahead in the 4th. All square on my card. 4 rounds gone, 2 rounds apiece. And the reason, of course, Lane fights that way is that he's really incapable of sustaining a flurry of punches earlier on in the round in case he wears himself down. Lane also outpointed Steve G from Birmingham over 8 rounds. And it's been many years since Steve G won a fight, I think. As I say, he's unbeaten his last 8, Renaldo Snipes. He lost on points over 12 rounds for the North American Boxing Federation heavyweight title to Orlin Norris, the brother of Terry Norris, of course, the WBC champion. But he beat Johnny Deploy in 7. That's about the only name worth mentioning. The South African, of course. 3 title shots Snipes has had: WBC, USBA, NABF, and he's lost them all. So round 5 of a scheduled 10 heavyweight match. Renaldo Snipes from Yonkers, New York, in the yellow, against Garing Lane from Maryland, Hillcrest to be exact, And I've got them dead level after 4 rounds. And those body shots from Snipes, well, I think they're going to be a bit of a waste of time. It's very, very hard to hurt this flabby body of Garing Lane. Better men than Snipes have tried and failed. I think they should call him Pudding Lane. But as I say, it does belie his ability to fight. It's just a shame he can't work himself up to getting into reasonably svelte condition. Could probably make light heavyweight if he really tried. Mentioned before, he's 46 pounds heavier than Renaldo Snipes at the weigh-in. And for those of you in the metric system, that's about 22 kilograms. And some 3.5 stone. So Lane has got a big weight advantage. Just leaning on Snipes there, but a good body shot from Renaldo. And believe it or not, Snipes has been a pro now since 1979, 13 years. Won his first 22 contests, Snipes. Came unstuck when he boxed Larry Holmes, of course. Well, let's just see if, once again, Lane puts those punches together with 10 seconds to go. I don't think it'll make much difference here, though. I think Snipes has got this round. But it's not been pretty. Oh, once again, he does it. Well, and the bell prevents him from getting a right hand through, but I think Snipes has taken the 5th. So far, I've given Renaldo Snipes the odd rounds, 1, 3, and 5, and Garing Lane the evens, 2 and 4, to put Snipes 1 ahead. Well, I'll go along with that. The Charleston knockout in the ring there. Bonnie Stevenson with the round card. Good punches there from Snipes. Garing Lane, a pro for 5 years. Lost his first 2, drew his 3rd. Then won his next 4. Lost his next 4 after that. Then won 4. Then lost 1, and probably lose this one as well. So this is the halfway stage then. Renaldo Snipes in the yellow and blue trunks. Garing Lane, of course, in the black. And I was appalled the first time I watched Garing Lane in action. He did look horrible, and still looks no better. That was when he boxed Samuel Mbenjob in France. He actually knocked Mbenjob out in 2 rounds. Well, Snipes just trying to use his extra speed here. Probably realises now he's not going to hurt Lane. So keep it light and keep it fast. And of course, try and stay out of the way. He must also realise now that Lane is not going to throw too many punches in the first 2.5 minutes. Just the odd shot. Renaldo Snipes has picked up a bit of a lump and bruise underneath the left eye. Nothing serious at the moment, but that might just get a bit worse. Well, Snipes has not done too much in round 6. Nice left hook though. Well, as I say, it would be fair to say he was a bit of a prospect, Snipes, if he was 25 years of age, but it's now 11 years on from that, and I'm afraid he's just a jaded old contender. Oh, good body shot there from Snipes. Really hard to miss Lane downstairs. Well, looks like Lane has now got a slight nick on his right eye. Well, doesn't look like Lane's going to... Yes, well, as I say it, he does it. Flurry of punches there to the body. Switches upstairs, but it's too late, I think, in that round as well. So the 6th in favour of Renaldo Snipes on my card. Calls himself Mister. And I think someone said to him once, "What's your name?" And he said Snipes, and they said, "What's your first name?" And he said Mister.
Please welcome cross and knockout, Debbie Vallis. Debbie Vallis.
He's got pretty quick hands, Lane, hasn't he? For a huge man. 270 pounds he weighed in at. And they reckon 200 pounds is pretty reasonable for a heavyweight these days, but 270 is incredible. And for all of that, he can still fight a bit. He must have a real brass neck as well to get in the ring in the condition that he's in. I was about to say thick skin, but sounded like too much of a pun. So round 7 then. Snipes still pretty snappy. I've got Snipes 4 rounds to 2 up with 6 gone. And you've really got to wonder where they're going to scrape up Snipes' next opponent. Our co-feature tonight has got Lamar Parks in action, and that might be worth seeing, so stick around. Guaranteed, of course, to be a whole lot different to this one. I dare say they could put Garing Lane in with Michael Dokes. Oh, look at this, good action here. Oh, and Lane's legs dipped a bit there from a right. Plenty of good action there. About to say they could put Garing Lane in with Michael Dokes for the roly-poly heavyweight championship of the world. Not much between them. They could stand back to back and look like almost a perfect circle. Well, these are good ripping body punches now from Snipes. Well, looks to be tiring a bit, Snipes now. Breathing quite heavily. So, approaching the last 20 seconds stage of this round, good uppercut from Snipes. And I don't think a spirited rally from Lane at the end of this round is going to change too much. Looks like Snipes has just got this. Oh, good right there from Snipes, and sorry, from Lane, and Snipes all but out on his feet. Well, the referee is letting her go back to the corner, and Snipes really got away with that. Unbelievable. I'm going to give the round even.
Eurosport.
That wasn't it. That one was. Renaldo Snipes all but demolished right at the end of the 7th round, and as a result, I've given the round even. Here we go again. And Lane is always going to be dangerous with that kind of shot. Wonderful punch. And poor old Snipes didn't know where he was. But I've still got Renaldo 2 up. And there's 3 rounds to go. It's worth mentioning a couple of other men that Snipes has mixed it with. He lost on points over 10 rounds to former cruiserweight champion Ricky Parkey back in '84, and took 5 rounds to knock out Bobby Crabtree. And normally good fighters don't take that long to get rid of Bobby. And Tyrrell Biggs outpointed him over 10 rounds. So that really does put Snipes' whole career in perspective. And Lane will, of course, be hoping here that Snipes hasn't recovered from that booming right hand at the end of the 7th round, and it doesn't look like he has. He's cut on the left eye now. Well, these are big punches now from Lane. Well, the referee taking a bit of time out here to have a look at Snipes. Bad cut. Well, fortunately for Snipes, it's running down the left-hand side of his face and not directly into the eye. And can Lane do it? Well, Snipes must have realised then he was on the point of being stopped, and he's got his act together. Of course, the break did him a bit of good as well. Well, a leading right there from Garing Lane, but not really showing the kind of spirit I'd have expected here. Should be really walking straight through Snipes. Double jabs there from Snipes. Looks like he's got his act back together here. This is round 8 of a scheduled 10. And this build of Garing Lanes makes Gary Mason look almost like a greyhound. And Snipes must be one of those natural kind of athletes. It's very hard to keep in good shape at this age of 36. Oh, Snipes now up on his toes, shooting out the jab, crossing the odd right and left hook, of course, but Lane still threatening. And of course, Snipes will know that with 10 seconds to go, he's going to be at his most vulnerable. And of course, Lane will be at his most dangerous, as he proved at the end of the last round. Well, here we go. Let's see if Lane can do it again. Well, there might be flicks from Snipes, but they're still scoring. Well, the bell prevents Lane from repeating that big right in the 7th. Well, 8th round in favour of Snipes. 5 rounds to 2 up on my card, 1 even, 2 to go. there's a few women out there might envy the chest of Garing Lane. And here Snipes looked decidedly demoralised, didn't he? Looked as if he was hoping the referee might just walk in and stop it. Very sorry for himself, but that inspection by the referee looked to have woken him up. So the penultimate round, round 9. Although it's been pretty entertaining this on occasion, it's really a nothing match, because the winner of this is going absolutely nowhere. And looks like it might be Snipes at the moment. And you wouldn't say that Lane's footwork was exactly jazzy, would you? And Lane makes statues look positively lifelike. But as I say, he is dangerous in the last 10, 15, 20 seconds of a round. But really an appalling advert for boxing, Lane, in this condition. And men of Snipes' age should be tucked up by the fire, with their feet up on a stool, watching this kind of action without participating in it. Oh, good body shot from Snipes. And you've really got to wonder what Snipes hopes to achieve boxing. He didn't do it when he was young and relatively talented, although he's still got a fair bit of talent. You've really got to wonder what he's going to get out of this game. And Snipes has got that nasty cut around his left eye to protect. And Lane always just stomping forward. Of course, this Madison Square Garden crowd want to knock out, so they don't want to see Snipes run away. They want to see him get stuck in, but there's no chance of him knocking out Lane. So the only man to have stopped him so far in his career of 17 fights is Riddick Bowe. And Bowe took 4. And I can't see Riddick Bowe beating Evander Holyfield. Sorry to all those Bowe fans who think he's got a chance. I'll eat my hat, of course, if he does. Well, once again, I think Renaldo Snipes has done enough running and hitting to take the 9th. 6 rounds to 2 and 1 even on my card. 1 to go.
Sponsors that bring you Madison Square Garden boxing here in the King Street Palace: Pepsi-Cola, West Ashley Toyota, 98 Rock, WCSC TV Channel 5, Level 107.5, Budweiser and Pearl Street, distributors, WPAL Radio, WJM News Radio 1450, and of course the Exchange Club of Metropolitan Charleston, where you can buy raffle tickets in just a few more minutes before we do the final drawings. Thank you.
Everyone gets a mention here. It's the King Street Palace, courtesy of Madison Square Garden Boxing Promotions. And the 10th and last round. Now is Garing Lane going to use up all he's got left, which probably isn't too much, or can Snipes stay out of trouble for 3 minutes? He'll take one shot from Lane, and this one will all be over, although it was a blinding punch at the end of the 7th round that all but demolished Renaldo Snipes. And had there been another few seconds left, I think he'd have been out for the count with a follow-up punch. Well, Snipes really is not going to take any chances here, and I can't say I blame him, doing exactly what I would have told him to have done. And that's just keep on his bike, keep stabbing out those punches, and grab hold whenever Lane gets close. And these two men, their birthdays 2 days apart. The difference is, of course, that Snipes was born 7 years earlier. And Lane could fight this way until he's about 60 years of age. Good long left hook there from Garing Lane. Trying to get the right going. Well, Snipes knows he's got to try and cover up here. And this is probably the longest sustained rally of the fight so far from Lane. Oh, and a good right hand, left of the body from Snipes on the belt, and I'm sure Snipes has got that. Well, I'll make it 98-93 in favour of Renaldo Snipes. But we'll have to wait for the 3 judges at ringside to give their scores. And Lane had one brief moment of success in that fight. And it was rather dramatic, but couldn't follow it up. He's got some courage, hasn't he, looking the way he does and taking his shirt off. Well, it might be a win, Renaldo, but I don't know where it's going to get you. A couple of more paydays, possibly. But the crowd were baying for a knockout, and it didn't come. But here is the decision. As I say, 98-93 for me.
We have a split decision.
Ooh, split decision.
Judge Ray Healy scores it. Snipes 98, Lane 93.
Well, same as me.
Judge Harold Schultz scores the fight. Lane 96, Snipes 94.
Well, he gave Lane 2-point margin.
Judge Lawrence Punt scores the fight. Snipes 97, Lane 95.
97-95. Well, a 2-to-1 winner. Renaldo Snipes, but Garing Lane, a very sporting loser, although one judge had him winning that fight by 2 points. One had it the same as me, a 5-point margin, and another one had the 2-point margin in favour of Snipes. We'll take a break, but we're going to be back with Lamar Parks.